I was born and raised in Cleveland, Tennessee. I was born actually in Sparta, but raised in Cleveland, Tennessee, with my family. I was adopted at 13 months old, and I lived with my adopted family. My dad was a Christian. I grew up in a Christian home. So I formally believe in God, that God changes things if you put Him first in everything you do.
Tell me about home life. Was there other kids there?
I have a older brother who I didn't really, I was the outcast, I would say, of the family, just because adopted children, including myself, because we weren't birthed in the home. So I was known as the adopted child. I was my dad's favorite, but my brother kind of grew as the outcast, but later on in life, now he's become the favorite, and I've just kind of became the outcast of, my brother has everything now. My mom, they don't help me. And so now I'm just like an outcast, live your life at the age of 18. I kind of just, I became pregnant at 19. I left the home at 18 just because I got tired of, the way I was being treated at home. And then at 19, I became pregnant, and I was in an abusive relationship, so my children I put up for adoption because I started getting abused, and then he started abusing my kids. Well, everybody's like, well, why did you do it that way? Why? Because my children they can't defend for themselves. So my job as a mother is to protect them. So I put them up for adoption because I was going through mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and it's not fair to them that I brought them into that life and that they're getting abused. So I got them out of this situation. Then I finally got myself out. And everybody's like, well, you chose a man. No, it's not like I chose a man over my children. I chose to get them out because I knew where they were going to end up. And today, they're healthy, they're happy. I don't see them, I don't hear from them, but I know in my heart, because I've heard stories, because they're friends of friends, and so I hear that they're okay and they're happy and they have a life that I could have never gave them. Until this day, I still can't give them life they deserve.
And feel free to look at me. You don't have to necessarily talk to the camera unless you want to. But I'm curious, was it a pretty religious household that you grew up in?
I was forced to go to church. I didn't have really a choice growing up. I was, if I didn't go to church, we got punished for not going. And so religion was just kind of thrown at me.
Punished for not going, like how? Well, how would they punish you?
Like I would either get whipped, grounded, things like that. And so later on in life, I practiced religion. I dated a dude who was Muslim, so I practiced the Muslim religion. I was very interested, hey, maybe there's other religions out there. And so I was very interested, and then I was like, then I got to know the Muslim, and I was like, nope, this ain't for me either. So then I went back to Christianity as a choice, and then I wasn't forced so much. And I was like, well, and I wanted to follow my daddy's footsteps. My daddy was an evangelist. He preached all over, and so, that's where I wanted to be. My dad was a good man. And that's where I ended up. And so, Christianity, everybody, Christians are judged today. We go through a lot, but that's where I've ended up.
I'm curious, with the kind of I guess I would use the word heavier religious background. When you became pregnant, were your parents like, woo, like
my
we
mom
support you, excited? Like, what
at
was
first
response?
was not supportive at 19. I was on the street. She was like, you chose this life, now you got to live with it. And the dude ended up, because the dude that I was with was not working, I was working, and I ended up getting sick and I had to miss work. Well, he answered my phone and I ended up losing my job. So my mother could not reach me because we didn't have electricity and everything else, and so she would knock on the door because she knew where I was living at, and he didn't like that. Knocking on the door as though show she pleases, come and go as she pleased, and he didn't like that. He got tired of it. So at 6 months, he left me. And so, then I ended up having the baby, and he was in jail at the time, and and I just didn't understand, why are you leaving, So I raised it up until he was like 6 months old, and then I ended up dating a dude who was very verbal abusive, and I think my son was being, went through some stuff, but I know that he was also getting abused, and I was like, I can't keep going through this. This is not fair to him. And since I tried to leave and he kept stopping me from leaving, well, you can't stop my child, so I put my child up for adoption. I signed my rights over to my mother for temporary custody, and she's like, well, this is where you're at. I had no job. I was staying in a women's shelter at the time, and that's not a place for a child to be. They accepted my kid, my child, but it's not a place for a child to be. So I ended up putting my children up for adoption.
And you said something about you were on the streets?
Yes, I was on the streets.
What was that the first time you became unhoused? And how do you define that?
It was very hard. I was by myself. I was scared. There was help somewhat in the town I was in, but there wasn't a lot of resources and help. So I ended up going back to my mother's house because that was my only option. And then I ended up meeting a guy because, that's my run to. I'll stay at my mom's house for a little bit, and I'll run and try to find a guy to protect me because my dad is not here anymore to do that. And so I think that's where I have fallen back in life, is because my dad is not here to protect me anymore like he is. And so I think that it's a guy's job to protect me, and that's where I've fallen in life. And so every guy I've got with has either abused me mentally, physically, sexually, emotionally. I've been through the ringer. And that's, so I went back to my mom's house, ended up meeting a guy, and I left again. And it's just been a cycle ever since I've been 18. It's been a cycle. I've left the town, and every time it seems that I leave Cleveland, something happens. And I finally told myself that this time I've met the group that I'm with. We've known each other for years, 10 plus years. Some of us went to school together, and I was like, you know what, time to start a new life. I've got to finally do me and let the bondage and let the past go. You can't live on the past. It will tear you up. It will bound you. You can't just live on it. You'll be miserable. And I've chosen not to do that anymore. And now I'm finally, the last couple of days, it took me a while. It's taken me some 20 plus years, but I'm finally, last couple of days, I've just kind of been free, and I feel myself. Yeah, I'm on the streets, but it's what you make of it. I mean, there's tons of, if you get out there, there's resources that will help you. And it's like, well, the streets are bad. No, it's what you make of it. There's tons of help wherever, you've got to get on the computer, you've got to do your research. There's people out here that will help you.
Yeah, sounds like if you really got to work at it.
Yes.
Yeah, and from doing this a couple of years, a lot of people are stuck because they're coping with, they get stuck in addiction.
Yes.
And in order to continue to work at that while you're in addiction, like your energy's going somewhere else, and so people get really kind of stuck in this loop.
Yes.
It's tough. Yeah, so when you guys decided to rent a car and come out here, what was the plan?
The plan was, for a couple of months, we were going to stay we stayed in a motel. Finances got, we were a little careless at first. We should have been going to the food banks. Instead of going to the food banks, we were buying food out, and we shouldn't have done that. So I do not recommend that. Go to the food banks. It is not a shame. And some people are like, well, I live in a house. I have this. It is not still a shame to go to a food bank and get food for yourself.
Yeah, there's a term, house poor.
Yes.
Where it's like, sure, we live in houses and apartments, a lot of people struggling to make their bills.
Right.
Living paycheck to paycheck. And yeah, going to a food bank food's expensive.
Right.
Very expensive.
Right, and especially in this city, where we came from, I mean, prices are still a little bit, the gas prices are more. But I mean, the food costs, I haven't really found much food cost difference. But I mean, it's not a shame to be like, everybody's like, well, I'm too good to go. Nobody's too good to go. Everybody falls short at some point. Even people who are billionaires fall short at some point in life. It's not a shame, hey, I live in a house, go to a food bank. You know, you'll meet people, you'll meet friends. You never know who's going to need your smile or who's going to just see you and realize, hey, I just needed that today. I've ran into a few people since I've been here the last 4 months. Hey, your smile just brightened my day. I needed that. I have a hoodie that says, I'm not short, I'm penguin size, and everybody, I've gotten like 400 comments on just my hoodie alone. You know, you never know just by the clothes you wear or by the smile or your appearance of what you can make of somebody's day.
I'm curious, Alexandria, what have you noticed from others, because you're living in a tent currently? What have you noticed?
There's a lot of, you know, I would rather be outside. I'm an outside doorsy person. There's a lot of people struggling out here. I don't know if, you know, in addiction, I injured myself back in October and became addicted. Just because I leaned on something for the pain and I shouldn't have. But I was also addicted. I've been, as a young child, got addicted to pills and stuff like that. But, you know, there's a lot of people that need help out here. I don't even know if they realize that some people don't have family. Some people don't have friends. And, you know, and some things have, you know, people struggling in life and they're like, that's what they've turned to. And it's sad. And people are like, some people don't think that they can get free from it. And you see a lot of that here. And a dude yesterday, just for example, we went to go eat out in town, and he was very deaf and could not talk at all. And we had to do some of the sign language that I knew off the top of my head to help him. And just a cookie from Subway just brightened his day, smiled, and it was heartbreaking. Just a cookie. So you never know, just a smile or somebody could make somebody so happy. He was wanting money, and I told him I didn't have any money on me. But a cookie brightened somebody's day. You never know, just a bite of food or something to drink could brighten somebody's day or bring them out of where they're at just for that moment. And sometimes people just need a moment and it changes.
And have other people done that to you? You folks who are on the side of a road on a tent, have you noticed kindness or judgment? Or what have you guys noticed?
I've noticed there's not really much judgment. I haven't realized there's a lot of, you know, people out here. Oh, you're struggling, let me help you. Do y'all need assistance? Do you need this? And we're like, oh no, we're fine. Even the police around here have asked, hey, do y'all need drinks? Do y'all need food? And we're like, no, we're good. You know, and it's been and I wasn't really expecting that. You know, now some people judge us because of our smells, but I mean, you know, that's pretty much about it. And it's just because we didn't know, like, the day center. We just now got in touch with the day centers and stuff to find out how late they're open and what their hours and stuff are. The shelters are kind of booked out, but you can stay at day centers from 8 to 3. There's different ones, and you know, you can take showers, you can do laundry, you can get on the computers and stuff, and then you're back in the sleeping, but you can get on the waiting list to be in one of their shelters. One of them is actually only 2 months long, so and if you get there early enough, like at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and you can get a bed. But I'm just like, you know, I like it. It's just free out here. It's peaceful, it's quiet, nobody bothers really anybody. You know, some people they'll knock on your tent or say hey, because they just want a friend. Most people that are out here want friends because they don't have anybody, and it's sad.
Alexandria, one last question before we wrap up. Is there anything that you want the people of Seattle to know?
This is a beautiful, beautiful place. I've looked at YouTube videos. Don't look at YouTube videos. Get out here. This is a beautiful city. I was told that, you know, people are rude. There's not a lot of, I've really haven't encountered that really. I mean, a couple of people, but everybody has a bad day. You never know what somebody's going through. And you know, and you never know what their story might be of why they might be in a bad mood. So you just kind of shrug it off. But there's been a lot of nice people out here, and it's really amazing. And the beauty of this place is, and there's a lot to do. There's a lot to see. You never run out of things to do. I've ate at a couple of new restaurants that I've never tried before, and the food here is amazing. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful place.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Good to hear your voice.
Thank you.
I gotta get that little mic and take a couple photos.